Sarah Thompson had never felt more humiliated in her life. As she stood outside the entrance of the Eastwood Mall. Her hands trembled with a mixture of anger, confusion, and shame. Just hours earlier, she had been shopping for clothes. Something she did almost every weekend. It was a habit that brought her joy. A simple way to express herself and feel good in her own skin. But today, things had taken a turn she never could have predicted. It all started when Sarah entered one of her favorite stores, a small boutique that sold trendy clothes. She had been shopping there for months without any issues, enjoying the freedom of finding clothes that suited her style. But today, the store's manager, a woman she had never met before, had approached her with a cold, stern expression. "We don't allow certain types of people in here," the manager had said, her voice dripping with disdain. Sarah was taken aback. "Art, do you mean?" she had asked, her voice quivering slightly. The manager had nodded toward Sarah's outfit. "You are not the kind of person we want shopping here. I'm going to have to ask you to leave." Sarah's stomach dropped as she realized what was happening. The manager wasn't just talking about her outfit or her demeanor, she was referring to Sarah's identity. Sarah had transitioned years ago, but the pain of being discriminated against still stung deeply. She had hoped that in a modern world, things would be different. But in that moment, standing before the manager, she felt the full weight of rejection. "Are you serious?" Sarah had asked, trying to keep her voice steady. "Please, just leave," the manager had insisted, her tone unyielding. Feeling both defeated and enraged, Sarah had turned to leave the store. But as she walked out, she could hear the hushed whispers of the other shoppers, their eyes lingering on her. Some looked curious, some judgmental, and others just plain uncomfortable. The weight of their stares was suffocating. It wasn't the first time Sarah had faced discrimination, but it was the first time she had experienced it so openly and without any attempt at subtlety. But it didn't end there. As Sarah made her way through the mall, trying to process what had just happened, she was stopped by mall security. The security guard, a tall man with a stern face, blocked her path. "Ma'am, I'm going to need to ask you to leave," he said, his tone cold and impersonal. "I?" Sarah asked, her voice trembling with a mixture of confusion and frustration. "I haven't done anything wrong. We've received complaints," the guard replied, glancing at the security monitor. "You've been asked to leave the store, and we can't have you disrupting the mall." Sarah felt her heart race. Disrupting? I haven't done anything disruptive. I'm just shopping. "I'm sorry, ma'am," the guard said, his voice barely softening. "You'll need to leave. We don't want any trouble here." It was in that moment that Sarah's anger reached a boiling point. She stood there, feeling completely powerless, surrounded by a crowd of people who either watching or avoiding eye contact. For a moment, she thought about walking away, just leaving the mall and going home to lick her wounds. But something inside her clicked. No, she wouldn't let them do this to her. She wouldn't let this moment define her. Instead of walking out of the mall in defeat, Sarah stood tall, took a deep breath, and made a decision. This wasn't the end of the story. This wasn't how her journey would end. "I'll leave," Sarah said, her voice steady now. "But I want you to know this isn't over." The guard raised an eyebrow, clearly confused. "Art, do you mean?" "I'm going to buy this place," Sarah said, her words surprising even herself. "I'm going to buy the entire mall. And when I do, I'll make sure no one else has to experience what I just did." 더 가우드 레프트, assuming it was just a moment of frustration talking. Good luck with that, he said with a shrug, before turning away. But Sarah didn't back down. She left the mall that day with one goal in mind. She would find a way to buy Eastwood Mall and turn it into a place where everyone, regardless of their identity, would be treated with respect and dignity. Over the next few weeks, Sarah didn't let the incident fade into the background of her life. She researched how she could make her dream a reality. She discovered that Eastwood Mall was owned by a large real estate corporation, and despite its age and declining popularity, it was still a valuable asset. The more she dug into the mall's financials and ownership structure, the more determined she became. This wasn't just about revenge, it was about creating change. Sarah knew she didn't have the funds to buy the mall outright, but she wasn't going to let that stop her. She met with financial advisors and real estate agents, and she worked tirelessly to put together a plan. She even started a crowdfunding campaign to help raise the money, sharing her story with the world. Her campaign quickly gained traction, as people from all over rallied behind her cause. The idea of a transgender woman standing up to the very institution that had discriminated against her struck a chord with many, and they supported her in every way they could. Months passed, and as Sarah's campaign grew, so did her determination. The real estate corporation that owned Eastwood Mall couldn't ignore her for long. Sarah's persistence and the public outcry made it clear that she wasn't just a one-off case of frustration. This was a movement. People wanted change. They wanted to see real action. And they were willing to back Sarah in any way they could. Finally, after a long series of negotiations, the deal was struck. Sarah, with the help of investors and the funds raised from her crowdfunding campaign, became the new owner of Eastwood Mall. It was a moment that seemed almost too surreal to believe. Sarah, a transgender woman who had once been kicked out of this very mall, now owned the entire property. She stood outside the mall that afternoon, her heart swelling with a mixture of triumph and disbelief. The moment was bittersweet. It wasn't just about the money or the business, it was about taking a stand. It was about showing the world that discrimination wouldn't be tolerated and that change could come from unexpected places. Sarah had proven that a single act of rejection didn't have to define her, it could fuel her to make something greater than she had ever imagined. As she walked through the mall, now her own, Sarah couldn't help but smile. It was going to take time, effort, and a lot of work to turn the place around, but she was ready. She had already begun planning to remodel the mall, to turn it into a place that embraced diversity, inclusivity, and respect. The stores would be required to follow a strict non-discrimination policy, and Sarah would make sure that the mall was a safe space for everyone, no matter their background, gender identity, or sexual orientation. The first few months of Sarah's ownership of Eastwood Mall were nothing short of transformative. What had once been a place filled with tension, judgment, and discrimination now began to slowly shift into something much more welcoming. Sarah worked tirelessly, pouring herself into the task of remaking the mall into a place where inclusivity and respect weren't just ideas, but a core part of the mall's identity. Her first major step was to meet with the managers of all the stores within the mall. She gathered them in the food court one quiet afternoon and laid out her vision. Her words were direct but filled with a passion that resonated with every person in the room. I know this mall has a history that isn't always proud. She began, glancing around at the group. But we have a chance to change that. We have an opportunity to build something different here, something that reflects the values of respect, acceptance, and understanding. Every customer who walks through these doors deserves to be treated with dignity, no matter who they are. This is not negotiable. Sarah's voice was firm, but there was a warmth to it that invited the managers to listen. Some of them were skeptical at first, unsure of how these changes would affect the bottom line. But Sarah wasn't asking for blind compliance. She was asking for an active commitment to the values that had brought her to this moment. Slowly, the atmosphere in the room began to shift. People started to nod in agreement. Some even looking relieved at the thought of working in a more positive environment. From this day forward, Sarah continued, you'll have a strict non-discrimination policy. No one will be treated differently because of their gender identity, race, sexual orientation, or any other reason. I'm going to be watching closely, and if I hear of any incidents of mistreatment, those businesses will be out of here. No questions asked. I'm serious about this. We're going to be a safe space for all. A silence followed, but it wasn't an uncomfortable one. It was as if everyone in the room understood the aid of what was being said and the power of what Sarah was asking them to do. One by one, the managers spoke up, offering their support for the new direction. Some of them had worked in retail for years and had seen firsthand the subtle, and sometimes not so subtle, discrimination that existed in the mall. They were ready for change. Over the next few months, Sarah focused on the physical transformation of the mall. She refurbished the stores, updated the signage, and created spaces where people from all backgrounds could gather comfortably. One of the most important changes she made was to install a series of large posters throughout the mall, each one showcasing messages of inclusivity and acceptance. There were posters with quotes like, everyone deserves to be treated with respect. Love is love, and you belong here. The images on the posters featured people of different races, genders, abilities, and backgrounds, a direct reflection of the diversity Sarah was working hard to cultivate. The changes weren't just cosmetic. Sarah worked with local LGBTQ+ organizations, women's rights groups, and other community leaders to create programs and events that would make Eastwood Mall a hub of support for marginalized groups. They hosted educational workshops on gender identity, anti-racism initiatives, and support groups for those struggling with mental health issues. One of Sarah's proudest accomplishments was the opening of a safe space lounge within the mall. This was a place where people who had faced discrimination or just needed a moment of peace could come and relax. The lounge was furnished with comfortable chairs, out by local LGBTQ+ artists, and resources for anyone seeking help or guidance. It became a gathering place for individuals who felt they didn't have a voice, a space for them to be heard and supported. But Sarah's journey wasn't without its challenges. While many were supportive of the changes she was making, there were still those who resisted. Some of the older businesses in the mall, who had been there for years, were hesitant to adapt. They didn't understand why the new rules were necessary, or worse, they didn't believe they would be successful. Sarah had to stand firm, confronting these business owners and explaining why their reluctance to change was not just detrimental to their bottom line, but to their moral responsibility as members of a community. One such confrontation occurred and Sarah met with the manager of a long-standing clothing store that had been resistant to her policies. The store had continued to enforce an unofficial dress code that discriminated against customers who didn't fit a traditional mold of appearance. Sarah walked into the store one afternoon, fully prepared for a difficult conversation. I've heard there have been issues. Sarah said calmly to the manager, a middle-aged woman named Barbara, who had been there for years. Issues with how customers are treated. Barbara crossed her arms defensively. We don't discriminate. We have a certain standard of appearance. That's all. You know, we cater to a certain clientele. That's the problem, Sarah said, her voice steady but firm. Your standard of appearance is exclusionary. It leaves people out. It's time to adapt, Barbara. Eastwood Mall is a place where everyone deserves to feel welcome. If you can't get on board with that, then maybe it's time to think about whether you belong here. Barbara looked taken aback. What do you mean? I mean, Sarah said, stepping closer. If you can't treat all customers with respect, if you can't accept them for who they are, then your store has no place here. That's the standard now. If you want to stay, you need to change your approach. You need to embrace the idea that people don't have to look a certain way to fit in. There was a long pause, and for a moment, it seemed like Barbara might fight back. But Sarah stood her ground, unwavering in her commitment to the vision she had set for the mall. Eventually, Barbara sighed, realizing that Sarah wasn't going to back down. Fine, she said, her voice reluctant but resigned. We'll adjust. We'll train our staff, update our policies. But this isn't going to be easy. I know it's not, Sarah replied, but it's the right thing to do. You can't keep operating the way you have. It's time to evolve. Over the next few months, Eastwood Mall began to transform into a model of inclusion and support. The resistance started to fade as more businesses saw the positive impact that the changes had on foot traffic, customer satisfaction, and overall community involvement. People from all walks of life began visiting the mall, feeling welcomed and valued. But Sarah didn't stop there. She continued to push for bigger changes. She hosted town hall meetings where local activists, LGBTQ+ groups, and women's organizations could speak directly to the community, and she created partnerships with local schools to offer internship opportunities for students from marginalized communities. As word spread about Sarah's success, other malls and businesses began to take notice. They saw how Eastwood Mall's commitment to inclusivity had not only transformed the space but had created a vibrant, thriving community. Sarah's work was paying off, not just in terms of business, but in terms of social change. She had taken a stand, and in doing so, she had inspired others to do the same. By the end of the year, Eastwood Mall had become one of the most visited destinations in the region, not because of its retail offerings, but because of the environment it fostered. It was a space where people from all walks of life felt they could be themselves without fear of judgment. And Sarah Thompson, the transgender woman who had been kicked out of the mall just a year earlier, had become a symbol of resilience, strength, and the power of standing up for what's right. As Sarah's vision for Eastwood Mall flourished, the impact was felt not just within the walls of the mall, but across the broader community. Sarah became a local hero, an example of someone who had turned rejection into action, proving that the power of persistence and inclusivity could change not only a business but an entire town. The changes in the mall were undeniable. The new atmosphere connected a diverse range of people. The once empty corners of the mall were now bustling with activity, and the businesses within the mall were thriving. The stores were filled with customers from all walks of life, each of them feeling a sense of belonging. The diverse product lines, inclusive marketing campaigns, and non-discrimination policies that Sarah had implemented paid off in ways even she hadn't anticipated. In the weeks following the policy changes, The port traffic in the mall increased dramatically, and the stores began to see record sales. More importantly, people from marginalized communities felt welcomed, and that made all the difference. But Sarah knew the work was far from over. The momentum she had built needed to be sustained, and she wasn't about to let complacency take hold. One of her next projects was to create mentorship and support programs for those who felt displaced or unsupported in their own communities. Sarah knew that her success wasn't just about running a successful business. It was about being a force for positive change. Through partnerships with local organizations, Sarah began running programs to help young transgender people find mentors in their professional fields. She created a safe space where they could learn new skills, network with professionals, and most importantly, feel that they were not alone in their journey. As a mentor herself, Sarah knew how difficult it could be to navigate a world that wasn't always welcoming, and she wanted to ensure that others wouldn't have to feel the same way she did when she first started transitioning. The programs were a hit, and within months, Sarah had built a network of professionals who volunteered their time and expertise to mentor young transgender individuals. They offered workshops on everything from resume building to public speaking to financial literacy. The mall, which had once been the site of her humiliation, had transformed into a place where people found not just a shopping experience, but a sense of community and support. But even as Sarah's efforts were gaining momentum, there were still those who opposed her vision. A few local business owners who had initially resisted Sarah's inclusivity policies continued to voice their disapproval, unwilling to adapt to the changes she was implementing. One such instance occurred when Sarah overheard a heated conversation between two store owners in the food court, complaining about the changes to their customer base. "This whole inclusivity thing is ruining our business," one of them said, her arms crossed tightly in front of her. "We don't need all these people here. It's bad for business." Sarah overheard these comments as she walked past the food court, her resolve hardening with every word. She had heard the same arguments before, but now they felt more personal. She wasn't about to let these businesses undo the progress they had made together. As much as she respected the freedom of business owners, she knew that change wasn't always easy, and sometimes it wasn't about what was easiest. It was about what was right. Determined to stand up for her vision, Sarah called a meeting with the mall's management team. She made it clear that Eastwood Mall would continue to operate under the policies of inclusivity and respect that she had put in place, regardless of resistance. "We've worked hard to create a space where everyone feels valued and accepted," Sarah said at the meeting, her voice unwavering. "I won't let anyone undermine that. These are the values that our community stands for, and I will fight to protect them." Her words were met with silence, but Sarah knew that she had made the right decision. This wasn't just about business. This was about making a stand for fairness and equality. She was no longer just the owner of a mall. She was the custodian of a legacy, and she would do whatever it took to maintain it. Within weeks, the owners who had been resistant to the changes began to soften their stance. As foot traffic to the mall continued to rise, many of the skeptical business owners realized that inclusivity wasn't just good for the community, it was good for business. By embracing diversity, they had not only gained loyal customers but had helped to create a culture where everyone could feel comfortable and respected. The tide was turning in Sarah's favor. The community that had once been divided over her vision was beginning to unite around it. It wasn't just the mall that had changed. It was the mindset of the people who frequented it. 더 더버서티 데트 세러 헤드 챔피언드 헤드 비건 투 리플렉트 더 트루 스피리트 오브 더 타운 예어 피플 프로몰 백그라운지즈 레이시즈 섹슈얼 오리엔테이션즈 앤드 젠더 아이덴터티즈 오 엘컴드 위드 오펀 아움즈 에즈 더 먼스스 패스트 세러 파운드 허셀프 인 더 퍼지션 오브 빙 에이 퍼블릭 피겨 앤드 허 인플루언스 비겐 투 익스텐드 비안드 더 바운더리즈 오브 이스투드 몰 She was invited to speak at conferences, to give interviews, and to participate in panels about diversity and inclusivity in business. Each time, Sarah used the platform to spread her message further. She didn't just want to be an example for her town, she wanted to inspire other businesses and individuals across the country to take a stand for what was right. One evening, as Sarah was preparing for another speech at a national conference, she reflected on how far she had come. The girl who had been kicked out of the mall just a year ago was now a woman who owned the very place where she had faced discrimination. Sarah had turned what could have been a devastating moment into a powerful catalyst for change, not just for herself, but for so many others. She stood on stage that evening, speaking to an audience of business leaders, activists, and educators. I've been where some of you have been, she said, her voice strong and filled with emotion. I've been rejected, humiliated, and told that I don't belong. But I am here to tell you that we do belong. We all belong. And the world is a better place when we embrace the richness of our differences. The crowd responded with a standing ovation, and for a brief moment, Sarah allowed herself to feel the weight of her journey. She had come so far, and yet, there was still so much more to do. But for the first time in her life, she knew that the path she was walking was the one she was meant to be on. She had not only changed the mall but had changed herself, proving to the world and to herself that no one, no matter their identity, should ever have to settle for less than they deserve. Eastwood Mall was no longer just a business. It had become a beacon of hope, a testament to the power of resilience, and a reminder that even in the face of adversity, one person could make a difference. And Sarah Thompson, the transgender woman who had once been kicked out of the mall, had shown the world that sometimes the most incredible journeys begin with a single act of courage. As Sarah continued to grow in both influence and determination, her efforts to promote inclusivity and respect at Eastwood Mall did not go unnoticed. The changes she had implemented, once seen as radical by some, had now become a beacon for businesses across the country. The story of Sarah's journey, from being kicked out of the mall to owning it and transforming it into a safe and welcoming space for all, became a symbol of resilience and hope for people everywhere. The ripple effect of her success was felt far beyond the walls of Eastwood Mall. Sarah's initiatives spread to other malls, retail spaces, and companies across the country. She was invited to conferences, both in person and virtual, where she shared her story with anyone willing to listen. As her influence expanded, Sarah didn't just talk about how to make businesses more inclusive. She also pushed for systemic changes that would support marginalized communities in all areas of life. Her work led to partnerships with organizations advocating for transgender rights, racial equality, and gender inclusivity in the workplace. At the same time, Sarah continued to keep Eastwood Mall a place where real change could happen. The Safe Space Lounge became a popular destination for local support groups and those seeking a moment of respite from the stress of daily life. It wasn't just a corner of the mall, it was a sanctuary, where people could come together, share their stories, and find solidarity with others who understood their struggles. The events Sarah hosted at the mall became more than just educational workshops. They became community celebrations. From Pride Month events to seminars on mental health, 투 펀드레이서즈 포 로컬 체러티즈, 세럼 에이 슈어 데트 더 몰 워전트 저스트 에이 플레이스 투 사퍼 데이 플레이스 웨어 피플 쿠드 커넥트, 런, 앤드 그로 투게더, 팹리즈, 영 어덜츠, 시니어즈, 앤드 인더비주얼즈 프로몰 옥스 오브 라이프 옥트스로 이스투즈즈 도어즈, 노잉 데이 우드 비 트리티드 위드 리스펙트 앤드 디그너티. 원 오브 더 모스트 시그니퍼컨트 모먼츠 케이맨 세러 파워트너드 위드 에이 로컬 LGBTQ 플러스 유스 오어거너제이션 투 프로바이 스칼러시프스 포영 피플 퍼스잉 에저케이션 인 비즈니스 아우츠 오어 소셜 액티비점 세러 완티드 투 인슈어 데트 더 넥스트 제너레이션 오브 리더즈 헤드 더 리소어시즈 앤드 서포어트 데이 니디드 투 컨티뉴 애드버케이팅 포 체인지 더 스칼러시프스 워 매트 위드 언 아웃포링 오브 그레터투드 프롬보스 더 리시피언츠 앤드 데어 팹리즈 앤드 이트 서멘티드 세러즈 플레이스 에즈 에이 커뮤니티 리더 앤드 애드버키트 에즈 이스투드 몰 플러리시트 세러 리시브드 레커그니션 인 매니 폼즈 시 워즈 어워디드 아너즈 포 허 리더시프 앤드 허 에퍼츠 투 크리에이트 에이 모어 인클루시브 비즈니스 인바이런먼트 She also became a sought after speaker at diversity and inclusion conferences, where she was praised for her ability to turn adversity into opportunity. 세러즈 전이 was chronicled in interviews, documentaries, and articles, and her story inspired countless individuals who felt marginalized or excluded. But despite all the accolades and success, 세러 never lost sight of what had truly motivated her from the very beginning. To ensure that no one else would ever have to experience the kind of rejection and discrimination she had faced. She remembered the pain of being kicked out of Eastwood Mall, the sting of feeling unwelcome, and she was determined to make sure that no one else would ever feel the same way. Years after she had first walked into the mall as an outsider, Sarah found herself once again standing in front of the building, looking up at the sign above the entrance. It had changed since she first bought the mall. It now proudly displayed the words "A safe space for all" beneath the Eastwood Mall logo. She stood there for a long moment, reflecting on the journey that had brought her here. The struggles, the victories, the challenges, and the triumphs, it all came together in that moment. Sarah had turned her pain into power. She had turned the mall, once a place of humiliation, into a symbol of change and progress. And more than that, she had shown the world that when you stand up for what is right, no matter the odds, you can make a difference. The impact of Sarah's work continued to grow, both locally and globally. People who had never considered the power of inclusivity were now inspired to bring these principles into their own businesses, schools, and communities. The ripple effect of Sarah's efforts stretched far and wide, and it was clear that her influence had sparked a broader movement toward acceptance and understanding.